Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, the review guy reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video. And in this one I'm going to be doing an honorable mentions list for 2019. These are the albums that didn't make it onto my end year list, but I still really enjoyed or at least want to recommend to you guys. In this video I'm going to go through a couple recommendations that didn't get 8s, but then I'm going to go over the 8 out of 10s that didn't get put on the list and maybe why. Before we get into that though, I just have a couple recommendations that didn't get 8 out of 10s, but for one reason or another I do want to recommend them. The Blood Incantation record, Hidden History of the Human Race, great sci-fi death metal record. It's been talked up and down. I like this record quite a bit. Big Thief with Two Hands, even though I'm not the biggest Big Thief fan, they are one of the better folk bands right now. There's no doubt about that. Kim Petras' record, Clarity, one of the better pop records of the year. I just couldn't have it on my list. I actually originally did. No One Knows What the Dead Think, their self-titled record. If you like Discordance Axis, like Gridlink, this band has ties to that, so check them out. They reek of that style. Esoteric with A Pyrrhic Existence, really good funeral doom metal album, even though I wasn't head over heels for it because I didn't think it was the most dynamic funeral doom metal album. Fans of the genre, do not pass this up. Next up I have Moonglow with Age of Excuse. Amidst all of the controversy, I went in like full detail for like 4 minutes talking about the controversy in my review, so I do suggest checking it out to know my position on the whole thing. It's still a really nice black metal record. There is no debating that. Shura's album, Forever. Tommy is one of my favorite tracks of the year. If you watched my singles video, best singles of the year, I do like how quaint the instrumentation on this record is. Amon Amarth with Berserker. It is Amon Amarth at this point. They are a very consistent band, if not the most experimental band. And Chon with their self-titled album. This almost caught an 8 out of 10. Almost. And the fan base was so loving of this review, like it really blew up more than I thought it was going to. But Chon is jazzy, they're fun, they're nice to listen to, they're great background music as well, but they do have a lot of technicality to them. Okay, now I'm going to go into the 8 out of 10s that did not get put on my end year list, and I'll go over just a little bit of why, and I'll obviously recommend them and post all of my reviews of all of the records in the description box below in alphabetical order, just like I did my top albums of the year. First up I have Lightning Bolt with Sonic Citadel. Obviously Brian Gibson and Brian Chippendale make a lot of noise on this record. I just couldn't really find a place to put this, even though it's like arguably the best noise rock album of the year in my opinion, and I just still love it. I still recommend it. It's still a very noisy, heavy, fun noise rock record. Next up I have Cult of Luna with A Dawn to Fear. This was the first record that got me into Cult of Luna, and this is probably the only 8 out of 10 of the year that has diluted a bit. Maybe down to like a 7.5 or a 7. I'm just not as big of a fan of this album as when I first heard it. And I kind of feel bad for that, but what are you going to do? Occasionally that's going to happen. I have Coffins with Beyond the Circular Demise. Amidst a year of amazing death metal, especially doom-infused death metal, Coffins came out of Japan. They surprised me a lot. I reviewed them because I didn't know how many of you guys really knew about them, and it is a gritty doom and death metal album. Just nothing too dynamic, nothing too hectic, nothing too amazing, not amazing enough to put on my end year list. Next up I have Korn, The Nothing. Korn comes through with one of their best albums of their later career, of their later years. This does match the resonance of their original material, but obviously this is marked with Jonathan Davis's own struggle, and that kind of boosts it up a little bit, especially from a lyrical point of view, if not a vulnerable vocal point of view. KO Dot with Blasphemy. Any fans of KO Dot or Modeling of the Well, check this out. Do not miss this because Toby Driver is obviously amazing when it comes to avant-garde progressive metal. Some of these tracks are very, very noisy. Knocked Loose with A Different Shade of Blue. Damn, I really wanted to include this on my end year list. I just could not find a place to put this. I kept looking around and I was like, I can't put it that high, but I can't put it that low. It had to have been in the middle, but it still is an honorable mention. They're reinvigorating this classic strain of metalcore, hectic metalcore, with a punchy production style. I love this album, and sad I wasn't able to put it on my end year list. This is probably one of my favorite albums on this list. that didn't get on my end year list. Same with Brockhampton's album, Ginger. I did enjoy this record quite a bit. It is a sad album for Brockhampton. It's not full of bangers. Take a track like Dearly Departed, which basically handles all the things that they went down with Amir, and Boy Bye is an amazing single. And just like I said with Injury Reserve in the Best Albums of the Year video, come on, Brockhampton has such synergy. Their chemistry is amazing. Next up I have Sleater-Kinney with The Center Won't Hold. The duo really does a good job of making their comeback, kinda. And while they have been releasing material over the years, I think this is their first that really matches up with some of their classic material. I know a lot of people didn't really enjoy this record, but I personally really liked it. Sad to see the longtime member leave, but I hope that Sleater-Kinney can bounce back and still sound great going into the future. What can you do? Next up I have Northlane with Alien, a very interesting mixture of metalcore and gen and nu metal. The Chester Bennington influence coming out of the vocals is completely evident. It's so cool to see so many bands taking cues from Linkin Park nowadays. You can really see their influence drifting over the landscape of genres that you might not expect. Bad Omens, Finding God Before God Finds Me. I think this is my favorite. This is my favorite on this list. This is one that I really wanted to put high, but I just could not find a spot. Has some of the best tracks of the year. Burning Out, If I'm There, Kingdom of Cards. Bad Omens kind of takes off the veil of their Bring Me the Horizon influence and becomes the Sempiternal era Bring Me the Horizon with a lot more dynamics and with their own sound. It is like night and day compared to their self-titled debut. Next up I have Avicii with Tim. This is a posthumous record and it's very finished. It's just a great pop album. Not really as high octane as some of Avicii's big singles, but still a really good record. Next up I have Foxygen with Seeing Other People. The duo came through with this great indie baroque pop record. They're continuing their streak. A lot of people weren't a big fan of this. I thought it was very pretty, I thought it was very quaint, and I like the production a lot on it. Next up Avantasia with Moonglow. This is another record I was a little sad wasn't on my end year list. This is a super group metal, opera, symphonic metal, power metal band with a lot of grit. Even though it can be a little cheesy at times, it has that power metal feel to it, and it is really fun to listen to. Kalani While We Wait, even though this is a mixtape, I had to throw it on here because I did really enjoy it at the time, and it still is a really nice R&B record, even if it's not one I go back to a lot. When I went back for this list, I was like, yeah, I can see why I gave this a high score. It is really nice. And then Within Temptation with Resist. The only album that is able to make me like Jacoby Shaddix nowadays from Papa Roach for that one feature that he did. The Reckoning, that track. This is a massive sounding record. Once again, it can sound a little bit cheesy, kind of like that Avantasia record. It can sound a little bit over the top, but these riffs, these drums are just fun. The vocals are great, they're powerful, they have a lot of resonance to them, and the production behind it's really nice. And that's about it. I hope I gave my recommendations. I hope I clarified some stuff that you guys might have wondered. Be sure to like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying farewell.